has a plan to create more jobs, and guess what? It's a win-win for both sides of the aisle. You may not have noticed it amid the headlines over President Donald Trump's assault on migrants and elite universities and his demotion of his national security advisor, Mike Waltz. But the president recently came out in favor of some core policy priorities of the Democratic Party: job training programs, combating climate change, and bringing economic growth to the low-income areas. Okay, he didn't do that explicitly, but he did assist every one of those objectives with the executive order he signed last month on restoring America's maritime dominance. The order, designed to bring American shipbuilding back from its current failing state, unlike the president's nonsensical tariff policy, encourages manufacturing growth in the United States. It may also open the door to more bipartisanship, as it would earn Trump the praise he so badly wants, but in this case, for working on goals that serve the Democratic Party's agenda too. Donald Trump, on the campaign trail, and since he won the election, has made it his priority to be there for the American people, no matter if they voted blue, if they voted red. And honestly, anyone that has been voting for the Democratic Party for the last decade really doesn't even understand the insaneness that has been going on with their vote. They just vote blue because that's what they have been doing for decades and generations. So now, once Donald Trump got in office, I don't think people are still doing their own research to see what exactly is going on. It's very important to make sure that Americans have jobs and not all the jobs are being shipped overseas. It's very important that Americans are safe and not being killed by immigrants. So we have to give Donald Trump a chance. He hasn't even been in office 6 months. The Democrats was upset with the first 100 days, although he was able to bring American safety back. He was also able to make America healthy again, and so much more. So we have to let time run its course. Democrats may be loath to credit Trump with any win, but this is a case where our party would win from a presidential initiative, and so would America. No matter how distasteful it feels to work with Trump, it is our responsibility to vigorously support his effort to restore American shipbuilding. This week, we were given the perfect bipartisan vehicle to do so. Senator Mark Kelly, an Arizona Democrat, and Senator Todd Young, an Indiana Republican, introduced the Ships for America Act on April 30th, proposing the funding to make the president's executive order successful. Congressional Democrats should make it a critical legislative priority and to pass this bill and bring American shipbuilding back from the brink of extinction. Does Democrats really want to bring shipbuilding back to America? Will it help their pocketbooks, or will it help American citizens? I see that a lot of Democrats like Jasmine Crockett, Cory Booker, and so many others don't care if Trump is actually trying to help the American people. They're just trying to fight back anything that Donald Trump is trying to do, whether it's good or if it's good. They don't care because it's Trump. They have something to say. But will it get us anywhere? Will it get their party anywhere? America led the world in shipbuilding as recently as the 1980s, but the industry is now a shell of its former self. China dominates the market, and we produce just 0.1% of the world's ships by weight. A host of factors have led to this sorry state of affairs. The federal government stopped funding the construction differential subsidy, which reimbursed U.S. shipbuilders for up to half the cost difference between construction ships in the U.S. and abroad. Over the years, all three branches of government, plus states and local counties, have made domestic ship production harder by adding numerous regulations and community and environmental reviews that made it difficult to expand and modernize shipyards. Our high schools, community colleges, technical schools, and universities have failed to produce the workforce necessary for a world-class shipbuilding industry. And you know what's interesting about this? The Democrats have been in office, let's take a guess, the last decade. So what does that have to say? They have been allowing this. We have been voting for this. And did you know that? And also, they're not even prioritizing life skills or anything that prepares the students for such industries. China is taking over. We cannot no longer let China take over and do this to us. We have to make America more dominant, and that is Trump's biggest goal, is to bring back America greatness, because we have it in us. And you know what, another thing, it has also made our generation lazy. The Democrats have championed federal job training programs since the presidency of Franklin Roosevelt. And the Ships for America Act builds on that legacy by funding scholarships for careers in the shipbuilding industry, by allocating money to expand maritime academies, and by providing student loan forgiveness for people who enter the field. The landmark 2021 submarine manufacturing deal, which lets Australia buy powerful nuclear-powered submarines and other naval technologies from the US and the UK, will require 100,000 more American workers alone. A revitalized shipbuilding industry could one day train and employ hundreds of thousands of Americans in skilled blue-collar work. Trump is a longtime skeptic of climate change science, but a side benefit of his shipbuilding initiative is that it could prevent millions of tons of carbon emissions. That's because America is home to some of the world's best inland waterways and inland barges used to ship domestic goods produce just half the carbon emissions that trains do. And just a ninth of the emissions from trucks. Medium and heavy duty trucks in the US emit more than 410 million tons of carbon a year. Even partially replacing them with barges could have a significant impact. Unfortunately, we don't use inland waterways nearly as much as we should because we don't have enough barges. The Ships for America Act would help solve that problem and would achieve another Democrat priority. The Ships for America Act would help solve that problem and would achieve another Democrat priority that dates back to FDR, creating economic opportunity for low-income people and under-resourced towns. Providing federal money to expand existing shipyards, easing regulations for building new facilities, and signaling to private investors that shipbuilding is a priority would funnel funds and growth to regions and people that need it. The Great Lakes states, the Gulf Coast, and port cities such as Baltimore and Philadelphia that are ideal sites for new shipyards and expanded ports would see economic growth and new jobs. That is very interesting that these are the target areas. Baltimore needs it. Philadelphia needs it. The Great Lakes states, Chicago, Michigan, need it. So this is a very good idea, and I hope that they run with it and it actually gets approved and everything is on the up and up. Finally, the Ships for America Act could help protect America from the worst excesses of the Trump presidency so far. Remember, Trump loves praise, but so far he's gotten kudos only from his right flank. And much of that has been for actions that trample checks and balances in Democratic cornerstones. Wouldn't it be better if we could praise him for working with Congress to develop intelligent policies that achieve bipartisan goals for revitalizing the economy? Pause. Donald Trump loves praises. Humanly, we all love praises. But Donald Trump has been getting a lot of backlash because he has and is doing what the American people wanted. Why would the Democrat allow over 20 million people to come into our country? Because Donald Trump is doing something about it, does that make him a bad president? When was the last time you was able to enter another country without a passport? Without going through that security clearance? When was the last time? I'll wait. Put it in the comments. He's working with Congress and working with people who wants to work with him. Did your parents teach you and you learned if someone is in your way, get them out your way? Simple. Passing the Shipbuilding Act will force Trump to work with both sides of the aisle to achieve his goal. It will be his job to strong arm enough Republicans to pass a bill that spends money on job training programs and carbon solutions. If Trump wants to revitalize American shipbuilding, support from Democrats will be essential. The Ships for America Act costs money, and if enough House Republicans maintain their pledge to not spend another dime, the bill would die without Democratic votes. Passing the bill will be a genuine example of the bipartisan center holding against partisan extremes. We Democrats face a sad reality. We won't get much of what we want over the next 4 years. We Democrats face a sad reality. We won't get much of what we want over the next 4 years. But we can continue to push for two realistic objectives. We can move the ball forward on the most important issues, and we can try to contain the damage Trump inflicts upon the nation. Supporting the Ships for America Act does both. I don't have a side, but I do have a message. We won't get much of what we want over the next 4 years. So you mean to tell me the Democrats wanted Americans to be killed by illegal aliens? The Democrats wanted men to be in women's sports. The Democrats wanted teachers in public schools to be reading to their children how to become trans. What are we really talking about? Why would you want to push that? And again, y'all have been in power how long? I'll count and wait. You guys have been truly the ones that have been damaging the economy and the nation. Trump is not inflicting damage on the nation because the nation has voted for what he's doing. Last time I checked, he had a high approval rating from the nation for what he has been doing. He has been doing everything that he campaigned on, and the only people that has been pushing back are the Democrats. So for them not to vote on a certain bill because X, Y, and Z, again, shows that they are the ones that do not love America. They are the ones that do not want to see America thrive by doing things like letting illegal aliens come in with asylum, letting illegal aliens come in certain states like New Jersey, Massachusetts, California are still not abiding by the laws. Have you all seen the man that just won the state championship against those girls in California? Like, Gavin Newsom, where are we at? The Democrats want these things, but then they want to say Trump is inflicting damage upon the nation. Who is really inflicting damage doing things like that and refuse to abide by the law, the federal law? I thank you guys for watching. I will see you on the next time.